So I want to talk about how reading is destroying your success and how it was destroying my success. Now, when I'm talking about reading, I'm talking about gaining and over gaining information in general. So people read books, watch so much YouTube video, on Twitter all the time, just scrolling, getting information off Google. That mental masturbation where you're gaining so much information, it becomes a dopamine release because it feels like you're being productive, but you're actually not being productive. And then it just becomes pointless and useless. There was no point of this. Just like masturbation, there's no point. You might as well just have sex and have kids. That's the point of having sex, for example, not just the pleasure side. Anyway, off that topic. Why reading is absolutely pointless at certain points. Okay, some of you know me in real life. I am a big reader, and I've been a big reader from maybe age 14. I became a reader because I remember there was one ad where there was a guy who said, here in my garage, just bought my new Lamborghini. But do you know what I love more than my Lamborghini or material things? Knowledge. Tai Lopez. He got me into reading books. I thought, he's rich. Rich people read. This is what I need to do to be successful. I was the slowest reader there was. My English was super poor. And I'm talking about not just my reading speed, but also how I was able to understand what was being read, like what I was reading. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't comprehend it at all. So it'd take me an hour to read 10 pages. So that's one page every 6 minutes. And by the time I was done reading, I had no clue what I just read. I couldn't remember it. I had no way of using it. Now, over time, say between 2015, maybe 2016 to 2021, that was my whole reading. There was a few books I got in and really understood, and I had a real deep desire to understand them. But from that period, I read a book on how to comprehend better and how to read quicker. So at this point, say 2020, 2021 onwards, roughly about there, I was able to start reading at a page a minute, 30 or a page every 30 seconds and gain this information even quicker. At the same time, I'm also on YouTube all the time, watching business videos, Googling business. The problem was I was not taking action. So this is the main problem why reading is killing your success, because you're gaining too much information where it hinders your actual action. And in the real world, the only thing that matters is actual action. You know, say you want to be able to run fast. There is no point of just reading all the books from the top people, or say business. You can read every book from every billionaire, millionaire, successful business moguls of the past, whether that's J. Paul Getty, whether that's Rockefeller and his letters, whether that's Elon Musk's biography or Steve Jobs' biography or Sam Walton's autobiography or any business. There's so many books out there that you can read. But the problem is, if you don't actually take that knowledge and use it in real life, you'll never become good at business. You just have all this information in there, which is useless. So you don't really have that real world experience of knowledge to actually use it as wisdom. So it doesn't really make sense to have it. So what I do now, going on to that, I only read and gain information. Let's talk about reading. I only read what is relevant in the moment that I need to use it for. So for example, if I want to improve my sales skill, I can read a book on sales then. There's no point in me reading about sales when I'm not doing anything about it. Like, I want knowledge to gain now that I can use and test tomorrow. That's what you're reading for. Where I could be better at it right now is all the overconsumption of, say, Twitter, of YouTube. I'm just gaining that. It's just mental masturbation, to be honest. So I've noticed it, and I'm talking about it right now, on the reading side. Since I've read books more correlated to what I'm doing at the time, that is superiorly helped me get better because I can apply that information straight away and act. However, thinking about it now, I need to start limiting what I'm reading on Twitter, what YouTube videos I'm watching, because that is hindering me. Okay. The other thing I want to talk regarding reading is most of you may be able to read, say, a page every 2 minutes. So you have to weigh it up. If a book is about 300 pages long and it's going to take you 2 weeks to get through it on marketing, could you have learned those skills whether they're hard or soft skills, with 2 weeks worth of work. So you have to think about speed right now. Or when people are chat GBTing, how do I do this? How do I set up proxies for my computer? Or how do I do this complicated task? You might be information reading that for 2 hours, 3 hours and trying to understand and then do the process. Whereas if you just jumped into the process and give it a test, you might have got the results quicker, so you would have known what to do or not to do just as fast. So you have to think when it comes down to when you're gaining information, what's actually going to be the quickest way if you want to improve fast and gain momentum. So what I'm saying to you is you need to limit the amount you read compared to speed, if the speed is going to take you quicker to actually just take the real action. You need to stop reading that is not in line with the action you're taking currently and the goals you have currently. So if you want to become a bodybuilder and you are not boxing at all and not interested in boxing for 6 months, don't read books on boxing because you can't improve that way. And then lastly, you need to start reining in that mental masturbation, all that information you're gaining without purpose on YouTube and Twitter and Google and ChatGPT because you think it's productive. It's not productive.